All right, so like I said, I'm in the boogie down Bronx here, and some neighborhoods are better than others. Well, mine is pretty good. However, even we have problems here in this rather nice section. There is an abandoned house not too far from it, and it's boarded up, but there are squatters who occasionally get in and take up housekeeping there. Well, one night, not too long ago, I was out walking around the neighborhood trying to get rid of some excess here around my middle, which, guys my age have a tendency to accumulate. Well, I'm out there and walking around, speed walking. And, my ex wife has said to me that you really shouldn't be walking around late at night in the Bronx by yourself. And she's right. But, when you're 6 feet tall and 260 pounds, and when you're packing some heat, you are not quite as anxious as, say, most people would be walking around this neighborhood. Well, put those two things together. And now I'm walking through this neighborhood near that abandoned, boarded up house. And it's close to 10 p.m. Out from this house runs a demoniac screaming, having a psychotic break. And I didn't know who he was screaming at until he started running directly at me. Yeah. Didn't know the fellow from Adam. I knew he was a lunatic, and I knew he was about to hurt me and hurt me bad. I can't tell you everything here because there's still some civil litigation involved. However, let's just say yours truly here exercised his human right to self-defense and his constitutional right to self-defense. I disabled the fellow. Didn't try to kill him, tried to stop him, and I succeeded in doing just that. I made it back to my home. Well, some days later, I found out that the NYPD was looking for me. So I thought I'd best call a lawyer, and I did. Got a good one, actually. Rather well known. I won't give you his name here. He suggested we surrender me before they come to find me. Okay. I surrendered, went through the arraignment process, and it's time to go to court. Well, as it turned out, this demoniac who I stopped that night, and for which I should have gotten a medal, actually, was wanted for arrest on several different charges. And he was actually arrested at the hospital where I put him. To make a long story short, there was nothing, no evidence with which to prosecute me except this demoniac's word. And he wasn't available to testify because he was back at Rikers Island where he should have been the night he attacked me. Finally, we get to the courthouse one day, not too long ago, and the assistant district attorney requests to the judge that all charges against me, and they were serious charges, be dismissed. They said their complainant was totally uncooperative and that the people could not meet their burden of proof. The judge immediately granted their request to dismiss the charges against me, and me and my lawyer went twerking out of the courtroom. Okay, so the charges were dismissed. The case is over, can't be brought again. It's done with. It's been nailed to the cross. Does that mean that whatever I do afterwards now, nothing can be charged against me? I can't. If I was to have a similar incident again, I wouldn't be in any trouble because the charges were dismissed. I was forgiven, so to speak. No, of course not. Those specific charges were dismissed against me, as well they should have been. Human beings have a right to self-defense, and Americans have a right to a certain type of self-defense, don't we? Yes. Okay. I should not have been charged. However, if I run afoul of the law again, I can and will be charged. And I'm telling you, you who look at Colossians 2:13 and say, well, the charges have been dismissed against me. Doesn't matter what I do from here on in. I have news for you. Your future sins have not been forgiven. You stand righteous just as long as you remain, as Paul said, steadfast in the faith, steadfast under the authority of Jesus. You walk away from that, you are no longer righteous. I don't care what Kevin's biblical discussions has told you. There is no such thing as once saved, always saved. And if you've been following this channel, you know there's no such thing as saved anyway. You can be righteous. You can be in a righteous state of grace right now, if Christ is your Lord, if he's your master, if his glorification is the organizing principle of your life. You are in a state of righteousness. And you can also fall away from that. You can apostatize. Don't let these false teachers tell you that it's a done deal. The Bema seat of Christ is not about handing out a diploma. It's about judging for what you did in this body, whether good or evil. There's plenty of scriptures that tell you that. Don't let these ear-tickling false teachers fill you with a false sense of eternal security. You can walk away from your righteousness, just as I can go out and get into trouble tonight again, which, believe me, I have no intention of doing, but hey, who knows? Don't you? Stay true to the Lord. And don't believe these false teachers. They have a date with the lake of fire. Have a good night, everyone.